Okay, so welcome to the third tensegrity assisted therapy group study meeting that we've been holding once a month. Everyone is welcome to come and to join, even if they are not very aware of the subject, but they want to start listening about it and having questions, and we welcome everyone to stay here. So today Richard came for the first time. Do you want to present yourself? Just say a short presentation, who you are, what you are, whatever you want to say about yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Nuno. So my name is Richard. I'm currently working as a personal trainer and with group trainings. I mostly focused on practicing something called Fighting Monkey. It's about how you organize yourself, how you find your unique organization of the body. And then I'm also studying Feldenkrais practitioner on my second year together with Nuno. And I've been doing a lot of movement. So I come from really the movement perspective and how you can find your inner organization, how you can move more freely. And this what brought me to biotensegrity, because I felt that the current maps of my body and how I move was kind of limiting myself. And diving deep in this subject has added something to my practice, has given my practice new light, shine new light on things, open up for new possibilities. So yeah, that was a little quick about me.
Thank you. Welcome. Teresa just arrived here, but Miguel, you want to say something to present yourself?
I shouldn't check my sound. Is better now?
It's perfect.
Thank you. So my name is Miguel. I live in Porto, Portugal. I have most of my time studying biotensegrity and Pilates at the same time. I own a Pilates studio here in my hometown with my wife. And I work very closely to Nuno in the Pilates field and the other stuff we study as well. So that's my presentation. This is the fourth.
Third.
Just to summarize and organize this. So this is our third meeting. It's been very helpful. And we are using this because we are attending a course of the tensegrity assisted therapy of Leonid Bium and Mariana Barreto. And that's a huge amount of knowledge there. And it's very helpful to share and to talk about it in these closed, opened meetings. So that's why I'm here. And nice to meet you, Richard.
Good. Actually, Richard is coming next week arriving to Portugal next week, right?
Yes, on Monday.
And he's going to the north. He's going to Braga and probably Porto. So if you want a reference there, also, you have Miguel. You can contact Miguel.
Nice. Yes.
Teresa, hello.
Hello, everybody. My name is Teresa. I work with Nuno. At this time, I'm living in Germany, but I keep my online classes with my clients in Lisbon. And I love movement since I was very young. I was a gymnast, and I love how I love movement. I love see movement, efficient movement, and I love to move. So, this made me arrive to NUNU, and we studied a lot. First Pilates, and on top of it, we had a lot of courses, and I'm here just to share this knowledge with you, and to understand this new way how to look to the bodies in movement, which is very amazing, I think. And that's it.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you.
Good. So today we were going to discuss, well, whatever we saw important on the course that we're studying, the course from Mariana Barreto and Leonid Bloom, Integrity Assisted Therapy. And we were going to see the, can you help me, Miguel and Teresa, there?
In vivo dynamics.
In vivo dynamics, exactly. And other things. So we were on that chapter that is called, what is it called? It's the arrangement of the abdomen in vivo dynamics.
Soft matter.
Soft matter, yes, all that thing happened there, and other things that may come up that we've been, because we know we are ahead, and we go and we see other chapters, so we are studying other sources as well. Is there anything that anyone wants to start with today? Anything that is itching and wants to be spoken?
Well, first of all, we can, sorry, we can start by, we study processes, because we study movement, and movement happens when we are alive, right? So that's for me, it was very, okay, exactly. We don't study muscles or a segmented machine, we study processes and verbs, like Leonid told, verbs, not nouns. And it's a good way to go, I think. So we need really to change that mindset, that we can have a section of a movement or a body and study that section. We need to start to understand that when we are alive, it's not, we cannot predict so obviously the response of the bodies when they are moving. So it's scary, but it's awesome at the same time, I think.
Can I just add something there, Teresa? Yes, we are studying processes. So that's why I think they say in the course, forget about the anatomy. So start seeing surfaces and volumes, and forget about the muscles and the bones and the things underneath, and the things that comprise that volumes and that surfaces. So try to see how the surfaces and the volumes behave dynamically. How tension behaves in those shapes and in those volumes in the surfaces. But we also study, in order to understand the system, the whole system that is the human body, we have to consider levels of observation or levels of studying. So you can focus yourself, after understanding the whole, as you say, we can focus on the cell, the shoulder, the relation of the skin to the inner space, to inner layers, although there are no layers because it's a whole system. And when I say skin, I'm taking it away from the rest of the body, and it doesn't work. If the skin comes off the body, there's no body anymore, and there's no skin anymore. So it's not the skin, it's just a way to talk about it. It's a level of talking about the whole system. Yeah.
Yes, and no, but we need to be always aware that we are looking to, we can look, of course, to a part of our bodies or a part of the movement, but being always aware that it's happening, that movement that happens in that part is happening in everywhere around. So, and I think the first goal is be comfortable in the sum of chaos, and it's okay. It's not, and we need to maybe it's not trying to get an equation to solve and to understand, but see and be aware and observing in a long time process. And that are going to give me references, mappings, I think. It's like I'm a sociologist at the same time, and I look at these like in a, societies are alive organisms, and we need to study societies. And it's not, I don't have an equation that, okay, I understand perfectly what is going to happen, but I need to have a lot of observation and investigation and be aware of many factors and be comfortable with all the factors and indicators, and that's the big challenge, I think, on this.
I have something to say, but if you have something to say, any of you, go.
I do.
I have something to respond to Teresa, but
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, all this conversation, the previous conversation just was very near this subject in a sense, because one of the things that's challenging here is because our field of study of the exercise, of the physical education just jumped in the anatomy, physiology, and all those other areas, biomechanics, the main one. And most of the time we were just studying these models, these theoretical explanations of what should be happening or what was supposed to be happening in us. And they are approaches. They're attempts to explain something that happens. And one of the things that we normally fall in, and I don't want to offend anyone, but normally when we use the biotensegrity, the tensegrity models and those puzzling things, we tend to try to understand the model, try to explain the model, and behave accordingly with the model. And that is not a good thing. One of the things I felt in my early practice, and when I met Nuno, things were trying to, and they become differently, was what happens normally with my students. They see pictures, they visualize things in magazines, in books, 2-dimension, whatever, with those shades in those muscle areas and with those angles and hinges and everything, and they behave accordingly with that. And normally they visualize something in a book, red shades, this is to squeeze in that form, in that shape, and they act accordingly with that. And they're not connected. They are acting accordingly with something that is out there. That's not even visualized or sensed in our moving body. And normally when we do the exercise the other way, the somatic approach, we normally tend to, okay, how do I really feel? what do I sense? And when I become to sense myself, probably things are very different than the interpretation of the books, the images, and everything. And probably they are not correct. And if they are not correct, no, I'm done. How can these maps inform me of what I'm feeling? That's the thing. Maps should inform us, okay? Inform my sensing, my feelings. As long as I am present in my living body, my living motion, well, I really can go into the maps and inform myself. This could be this thing that's described in literature. And one of the things I struggled a lot, and my students struggle a lot, it's, okay, normally they say, I feel the muscle A, B, and C. And I just said, no, you don't. Try to be more abstract and more evasive, and try to really explain me, or try to, in your images, in your own words, to say what you are feeling. And normally they say it's friction, heat, sedation, or whatever. And that's not a muscle moving or contracting. So this is one of the biggest exercises, and one of the things that this chapter in particular for me speaks about. So if you want to look and inform yourself really what's happening, in fact, the skin, because it's visible, it's here, really informs me what's happening. And normally what's happening on the skin, it's sensed. And that really informs me. And skin, well, it's unbeatable because you can see it. You don't see the muscle, you don't see the blood, you don't see the tendons, you don't see the kind of contraction of that phase of contraction. You can see the skin. And as long as you can see the skin, you can rely on what happens on the skin. This is really what's happening. That's my interpretation of this chapter, and that's the biggest resolution I have. And that's what I wanted to have here.
Hi, Frida.
Hi. Sorry, I was just writing in the chat to try to be discreet.
Okay.
I'm gonna be joining for the most part without video because I need to go home while doing this. So, but I'm here, I'm listening, and yeah, I'll pop in with questions if I have anything.
Good. Do it whenever you want.
Sorry about that. Okay, thank you. Okay, great. Thank you.
I can just say two things, one to Miguel and to Teresa, and I think they connected too. Teresa was talking about the chaos that we need to embrace when we see all these things happening at the same time in one system, and we consider it one system, but there's a kind of a chaos what you said. But here, what I think this map, this theory of tensegrity and biotensegrity, and especially the tensegrity assisted therapy course that they are proposing, is the behavior of all the system in the dynamic terms. How does the whole thing behaves in transferring or in distributing the tension that is within the system? How does in between commas, how all the tissues, all the different materials, the skin, the fat, the blood vessels, the bones, how everything behaves dynamically, always. How can you establish one common behavior for the apparently chaotic thing because everything is different, different materials, different things. And we can establish a common behavior or a zone, a surface or volume that behaves the same way dynamically. Yeah, and this takes, I think this takes me to what Miguel said about the maps, that we tend to identify with the maps and try to figure out where does my spine behave like a tensegrity tower. And there's no tensegrity tower in the spine, but the behave of the tensions in the system, they can be similar, and we can interpret the behavior in the tensegrity model to understand, or to try to understand, what is happening in the spine. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I should add this. Exactly, the thing is focused on the behavior, and the tensegrity should inform us, because that's not a real thing. That's not even the complex behavior of the model. It doesn't explain everything. It's the best explanation, the closest explanation of what's happening, and could inform us, because otherwise we're going to fall on the same mistake again, and we are behaving according with the model. It's like the thing of the auxetic. If we follow on that, we are breathing auxetic. No, we're not. We are breathing and in an auxetic-ish manner. So that's the thing. We should really be informed with those terms, those theories or models, whatever, but not act upon it or as like it. Okay, make sense? Yes.
For me, yes. Well, you have...
And it was a dilemma for me that the auxetic thing was just so, because I didn't sense it. I was not sensing it myself, because I do a lot of breath work, because I dive and I do a lot of apneas, and it wasn't fitting me. And okay, I cannot say, even today, I cannot say my breathing is auxetic. My breathing is what it is, and auxetically, okay, it seems like, okay, and that's the thing. That's the thing.
So we can study auxeticity in a model, in those balls that do and say, it expands in all directions when it elongates, and it contracts all the way when it contracts, and it gets smaller when it gets bigger and thicker and more volume when it stretches. So that's the behavior, and it kind of happens like that within ourselves, inside ourselves. It doesn't. Every time we stretch, we don't expand completely. There's a tendency to behave like that. Are you getting anything, Richard, or are you completely lost in our conversation?
No, I understand.
Wanted to say something before?
Yeah, I wanted to add to what Miguel was saying, that as I've been reading up on biotensegrity, gives me feels like it's more organic. It's more, so the old model was like in a box where everything just should be forced inside. And here it feels more like, okay, we got this map, but it's not in a box, which makes it, you can use it as a starting point, and then you can add on your own experience, on your own observation, and it's constantly evolving instead of being something that is stuck and should fit everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think we are all agreeing. You want to say something, Teresa? Okay. So about the chapters that we were to focus on, the buckling and the torsion. So all those mechanisms that they address regarding the abdomen region, and the importance of the transverse abdominis in that prevention, working in two different ways for buckling and for torsion. The same behavior or the same characteristic of the transversus abdominis works as a way to prevent buckling and to prevent torsion. You want me to go on, or you want to say something on these things? So, and this is something that took me also some time to understand. Like the tensegrity model is not what is happening in my spine. Okay, so I study it and then I see a spine because it's a long thing. But then I say, okay, but this is not the spine. This is just the behavior. Okay. And another thing that happened to me here was that the mechanisms, the hidden mechanisms that Leonid and Mariana talk about, that prevent the buckling or the torsion. So the anti-torsion and anti-buckling mechanisms, they are hidden, meaning they result when they are present. Let me say like that: when they are present, they allow us normal persons, humans, to stay here and not twist or buckle instantly because of gravity and because of breathing. For instance, we are here. For me, the question is like asking a fish in the sea, do you know that you're surrounded by water? And if the fish could think, he would say, water? What the fuck do you mean? But because it's like us. Do you know that you're surrounded by air and that air is not an empty space? It's full of things. This is matter here, okay? And you say, well, there's nothing here. I can move. Like, what do you mean? You see? So these mechanisms inside that allow us not to buckle instantly, or when we sit, or when we stand, or to twist every time we move or every time we stay, because the arrangement of the tissues of matter tends to form twists and spirals. So the arrangement of our tissues would lead us to make lots of twists and to make a messy thing on the floor. What allows us not to be like that is hidden. It's the mechanisms of anti-buckling and anti-torsion and other mechanisms like oxyticity,
And they are part of a map of stabilization, or
they are part of destabilization.
Okay.
Okay.
Which is much more complex, the map of movement, right?
Much more complex. That's what they say. Yes. No? Say, Miguel.
Yeah.
I would say what you are saying, probably, if I understand, we normal people, we take them for granted, okay? Because we don't collapse or don't buckle or twist as that. And I would say they belong to the same continuum, meaning when they are not present, it's because we are stuck in somewhere in that continuum.
Okay.
Yeah, because when we talk about the spiral, and we only spiral because we anti-spiral, or we flex because we can anti-flex, it's the same thing. We don't buckle, we don't buckle because we have the mechanism of a bite time anti-buckling, okay? And we flex instead of collapse. So it's the same continuum thing, because in order to have a positive tension in some direction, you need to have the opposites. Otherwise, you don't balance.
You need to have many opposites, not just one opposite, because it's
simplifying. I'm simplifying
direction.
I'm simplifying this. So just to understand.
But when you simplify, it's what Leonid says. When you simplify, you don't simplify, you make a mistake.
Well, we have to start from somewhere.
But you can say that there's no thing on the other direction. There are things in many directions that allow us to go to that direction in a controlled way.
I have to leave at 7, so I'm going to read a long sentence everywhere. Now, the thing is, we belong in this continuum, and because that's the thing, because now, let me say in a very simplistic, making the mistake, so to be clear, or to be myself understand. When we talk, normally when we talk about muscle contraction, we normally talk about the concentric phase, the eccentric phase, and the isometric phase. We all know this, okay? We all heard the story. Well, it's all the same thing. They all belong to the same thing, the muscle length availability. It lengthens, isometrics, and becomes concentric again. So that's the total range. That's the total continuum available. And in another scale, in another observation of dynamic behaving, the anti-buckling is the buckling and the anti-buckling. It's the same thing. It's the same continuum. And if you don't have that continuity,
okay, I understand what you're saying.
You're lost. You're stuck. And if you are stuck, that's the thing I understand about the PC child. Leonid gave that brilliant example the other day, that was the running only uses 2% of contracting muscle, and the PC child uses the other 98%. That's the thing, because they don't have the total range available. They are stuck. And we take for granted the ranges we have, and probably they are not centered, meaning in the tension model there is no zero, but they are not regulated, and normally we can just not be so much efficient, but we have some range, okay? If we lose a big part of our range, we're stuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did I make myself understand? I think this is coming to my sense very well. So
I had a question there, Miguel, about what you're saying. So what do you mean we are losing some of our range? Isn't our range like always there, but because we are not maybe using the right stabilizer, we are not able to use that range?
Normally, I would say that if you don't use all the system, and this is always the same, all the system, if you don't have the tensional system working properly, probably you're going to rely more on the compressive system, and the compressive system is going to limit your range. Absolutely. The range, meaning range of quality, range of motion, range of whatever, when range of health, range of homeostasis.
Yeah, are you okay?
Can I will try to talk if it's okay, but if it's
Go
too
on.
much noise, just let me know. Something just came to my mind with what you said, Miguel, and I'll say it and then you can see if it's at all what you were thinking about or if it's related. But I think before I met Teresa, I think I was very stuck. I could do a lot of things, but I was still very stuck. So there were a lot of things in my body I could not access and I could not feel. And then with the work, more like the Carroll method of baseline and anchors and endpoint and all of that, suddenly I can feel the spirals because I have scoliosis and that's a lot of spiraling going on. So when I was like relaxed enough and not stuck anymore and things started moving more like naturally rather than just me trying to move things actively, consciously, I could start to sense how it wants to spiral, like where I want to spiral out of balance. And yeah, this just came to my mind when you were saying being stuck and not like targeting the full range. That's exactly what I was experiencing with like going from being stuck, which I was maybe not so aware of while I was stuck, to being more free, and suddenly it's like your awareness can drop one or many levels deeper, and you can start to listen to that like internal, I don't know, flow or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if that's at all what you were talking about or if it makes any sense, but just wanted to share.
Thank you.
I just want to, Miguel, do you mind that it's a tiny thing.
Go.
We are talking about different levels, right? And we are studying with Leonid and Mariana, and they work with a universe that it's a little bit complicated to compare to us, because what Frida was telling, I feel exactly the same. Frida, it's good to hear you. But we can develop that awareness on us because we have that skills. And but in that case of the kids with the damages, they applied a method that doesn't depend don't depend on that, right? On that awareness, because they are not going to have it. So this is a mechanism, a therapy that takes out the awareness that we can develop, and it's easier to assess than to a freedom of movement than these kids, right? So they find a way that restores their tensional system, and that is amazing because they are passive, right? So they find a way of they don't have that mechanisms that we were talking about, that neutralizers, right, that we have, and they are trying to wake up, I think, these mechanisms on the kids, not from the brain damages, of course, but from this system that wraps us, and that are us, right? The fascia, all these tissues with these mechanical receptors, and this dynamic, in vivo dynamics, I think that we need to look to the behaviors, but not just the behaviors, but what is missing, that so what is hidden, and what is hidden. So we need to understand what are the dynamics, right? So mapping is that we need to understand what is the dynamic to understand what is missing. Or
yes. Can I just say something to Frida?
Yes.
When I hear Frida and you saying, Teresa, that you start feeling where the body wants to torsion, wants to twist, you started feel you were stuck in another place, and the twistings starting being allowed, you were starting to feel them. For me, that is not what I understood as the properties, the hidden properties of stability. That is after stability. That is already movement. And if you started feeling twists where they want to go, for me, it means that you solved or you built some of the hidden properties, in this case, the anti-torsion mechanisms that allow you to twist. Otherwise, you cannot twist. You stay stuck in one place, in one twist, without twisting more, you see? So you don't feel what you're doing. When your body starts doing things, it means that something was built inside that allows you to be more normal, allows you to move. Yeah. I don't know if someone disagrees with this, or because we all come from movement, and for us, we want to see movement and we want to work with movement, but we are studying things that are before movement happens, before it's the premuscular, as they say in the course. It's before movement. We see the kids lying down, and they cannot survive if they were not helped a lot before. Many years, some years ago, these type of cerebral palsy kids, they would die very early because there was no help for them, any help. They were considered deficient and they would die soon. But now they can be helped. So because we are focused on movement, for us, and I see my difficulty in it, is for us is very difficult to understand what is before movement, what they are talking about in the course. Has nothing to do with movement, and it has everything to do with movement. So it expresses it in movement. When I'm thinking, and Richard, you'll be a little out of conversation, but you will understand, I think. So we have these Carol Amend that Frida talked about. She has a Pilates method developed, a Pilates way of understanding her own method of understanding the Pilates method. Very, very interesting. And she has some spinal rhythms. She defines a bunch of spinal rhythms to define the possibilities of motion centered in the spine that can define all the Pilates moves that are archived. Okay, so the Pilates moves are the Pilates moves. You don't change them. So, okay, and there's one move that is called anti-torsion. Anti-spiral. Okay, is it true, Frida? Anti-spiral. I think so.
Yes, anti-spiral.
And we were struggling, me, Miguel, and Anna. We were struggling when we were teaching that and understanding that and learning that, because we were twisting the spine. So you're lying on your side with the hand here or on the floor, the legs are off the floor, and you try to counterbalance the twisting of the shoulder girdle with the twisting back of the hips and the legs. And you go forth and back, twisting from the two edges of the spine. And she called it anti-spiral. And I see the anti-spiral as a hidden movement that allows me to spiral. So when I see the movement, if she would call the movement a name, she would call it spiraling movement or counterbalancing movement in spiral, okay? But she's talking about what is happening, what is allowing the body to do this counterbalancing movement, this spiraling movement in different directions. So she called it, I don't know if it on purpose or not, anti-spiral. And if I would see an anti-spiral movement, not mechanism, I would put someone on the side, do movements with the arms and the legs, and would not allow the motion of the spine. So the spine would want to move, to spiral in different directions, in counterbalancing directions, but I would not allow it to do that. So that is the other level of talk about the body, about the dynamics of the body, that is after the pre-muscular. In the pre-muscular, what we see is not what we get. It's not evident, it's not obvious. In the movement, after the pre-movement, in the movement level, where we are diving every day, that's what we know better. What we see is what you get. If you twist, you twist. If you don't twist, you don't twist. It's very obvious. It's very straightforward. And here we are looking at things and talking about things that are not clearly seen. If, as Leonid says, if it's obvious, if the reading of what you're doing, it's obvious and clear, you're being a mechanical, a mechanist, a mechanical observer, sorry. And if you're looking to something in the human body as a mechanical action, you're looking in the wrong sense, because we are not made of rigid matter, or we are made of soft matter. That's another chapter that we were talking about. Say, Richard. And I'm sorry for my talk.
Oh, no worries. So I just want to add on that what you were saying. So when I myself move, I feel that I get a sense that a lot of things are already there for me. And the better I'm organized, the better I build up trust in my system, the more it will allow me to do more as the anti-buckling, anti-torsion movements. So I get a sense that everything is already there, like the range of motion, everything is already there. But until I'm more aligned with my body, better organized, more that my system can feel big, because I think the system is there for protecting us. And the more I can build trust in the system by using the right stabilizer, then I will can be able to use all the traits, all the different kind of dynamic behaviors that is already there if I have the connection.
Can I just say something to what you just said? If you think you're using one stabilizer to allow you to do something, you are not talking about these hidden stabilization qualities. You don't think about them. You just express yourself in a way, like Miguel was saying, the skin shows you what is inside, what is happening inside. And Leonid has those origami and skin talks where he talks about it. The skin expresses an inner behavior, but you don't feel the inner behavior. You don't feel. I don't feel. There are people that say they feel in this field. They go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and they can feel what is hidden in you. I'm not going to say that I don't believe them, because people feel what they feel. It's okay, but I don't feel that, and I find very difficult to teach other normal meaning people that are not super conscious and super deep, and so normal people. I find it very difficult to talk to them in those terms of very deep perception of something. You can have perception of yourself, but of those hidden mechanisms, that's my belief. And I hope I'm wrong and someone teach me differently, but I don't know.
But I think that's not, we don't need to worry about that. In us, with this learning, I think we need to find a way to apply these with our instruments, with our tools, and try to like Leonid and Mariana, to restore that hidden failures, right? And to wake up these neutralizers. So of course, awareness is fundamental for everyone, but with these, we have these methods. I think it's not just to create awareness on our clients, because we already work like this. It's more like, okay, I have the reformer, I have these tools, and I'm going to try to load this body, to load this body with the charge that we have
Tension.
on the springs, the
Tension and compression.
The tension, and in a even more area of the body, right? And then you are helping the clients, and they don't need to understand everything and to know why and how and explain everything. I don't work like that. Of course, I work and I try to create awareness and interoception, and of course, but this method, this therapy, I think that allows us to work with this conscience and restore the distribution system of tension on the bodies.
Yeah, I think the awareness thing that many methods talk about, they are focused on creating awareness. As Teresa say, I don't think this method is focused on creating awareness, but if you build that super stable system in yourself, and you are aware, minimally aware, you'll become more aware of your capabilities, of your relation to your surroundings. So it will increase your awareness, but it's
because
not
release some tensions that are located, and the body is more efficient, and so you can develop more awareness.
Like
because if
Frida
you
was
have
saying,
the pain, the local pain, you are not, people just know that they have that pain. And
yes, stuck on
I'm
the
not free to develop my awareness like we all do and try to do, and we see that is very important.
Yeah.
But this tool is not for that, I think.
Okay, Miguel needs to leave. Let me just ask Frida if what I said about the torsions and what she said rang a bell on her, or was nothing to.
Yes, I think like I was not, maybe I was not being that clear because it's like very clear in my head, but it was not the anti-spiral that I was talking about. But because I have scoliosis, that makes me, it makes me feel like the spine is spiraling in a way because of those the extra curvatures and it's, how can I explain this? So if you imagine a sagittal plane movement, not like trying to rotate, but just let's say I'm in a teaser. Then with this work and with getting more less stuck and more relaxed and more free, I can suddenly feel how my back wants to spiral, which is quite difficult, I think, for most people, unless they are really stuck in one way. They can see that, okay, obviously my rib cage is going this way and my pelvis is going the other way, but that's not feeling a spiral, that's seeing something from the outside.
Sorry.
But, and my scoliosis is very, you can't see it really, like you can, but it's not very obvious from the outside. But just the sensation of how those forces that I'm not controlling, I'm not trying to controlling them, I'm just feeling how,
would you say,
okay, I'm shifting.
Would you say that what happened to you was an increase in perception? So your awareness was increased. There was no structural changing inside you by fibroblasts or by increased tensions here or there. You just found a way to quiet yourself using more anchors and using more reference to yourself, so that you allowed yourself to perceive things that were not in your awareness field.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's hard to say what tissue-wise, what has changed. I mean, I experienced change in my body, not just awareness-wise, but also
physical.
Yeah, physical. The body is different. So maybe it's both, and I think it's hard to say. I think, yeah, if we're, I think it's a little bit maybe the problem that I'm not doing this course. I'm just kind of tagging along. I'm gonna do it eventually, but I don't have time right now. So I was just thinking about this with what Miguel was saying, and of course I'm studying similar things through biotensegrity. But my lens is not kids with cerebral palsy, because I teach people without that, and myself, and I teach movement. So of course it's a little bit different, and I understand that this course, yeah, I don't understand it, and I don't know exactly. I just try to relate the things to my little world.
No, it's very good. Yeah. It's a very good contribution. It's a very good contribution for the discussion.
Yeah.
Miguel, you want to say something to wrap up? and Teresa also needs to go, so she needs to, I think we can finish unless you want to stay, Richard. And so Miguel?
Well, I'm going to try to wrap up some things. So it's like this. The course just enhances a kind of baseline work of pre-motion, received or visualized motion as a requisite to a more stable strategy. Okay, meaning when we hack that stability, or we feed that stability in this kind of baseline, more controlled ranges, more, yeah, we can really feed the system, be more aware, and probably the quality of our movement, probably no, I'm sure of it, the quality of our movement in the future is going to be better or sensed better. And I think the quality is going to be better because the sensed stability is going to be really enhanced and really sensed in a way, in a concrete way. So it's like this. If we experience this kind of pre-motion, wavy thing, and when we are aware of it, and we behave in a pre-motion according with this kind of dynamic, normally and in a very expected and normal way, you're going to be more stable, more grounded. And being more grounded and more stable, the quality of our movement in a bigger range is going to be better. And probably the kind of spiral motion is going to be more sense. I believe that's the things that was noting here about what you were saying. That's what was in my mind. Okay, that's
thank you. Teresa, you want to say something?
Yes, I agree with Miguel. Of course, this is a other tool a fascinating tool to look and to feel the movement, and we have developing that awareness on us, and we can in a more freely way, we can feel that that movement, the inside movements happening, or movements, or stability, right, or dynamic, but not that precedes the movement itself. And this is a plus, and this is very interesting to understand that we don't have just the anchors. We need to find this long surface that we have, our skin, and we need to feel that slide on our skins, and we can work a lot with this. And the awareness, it's important on our work, because our clients are moving. It's not, we don't do body work, so the awareness is important, but not explaining the awareness, but trying to find a way that people can feel more their bodies in contact with the interfaces that we have available.
Mm.
I see like this.
Okay.
And yeah.
Can I say something to that?
Of course.
No, just a second. No, I'm in a meeting. Sorry, I'm in an Uber. Very confusing. Sorry. So I think that's a very important point that you said, Teresa, that we are not body workers. So we are not just the people that come to us. They are not just there to like for our hands to do the work and just kind of receive it. At least I don't see it like that, because I want my clients to walk away and have tools so that they can help themselves. They are not depending on me, but it's their process and it's their work for life on their bodies. So and I think that's why Pilates is so valuable, and I use a lot rolling patterns and pre-Pilates exercises and some of the things from Carol that my clients use as tools, and they can really benefit from that. And of course, it's not the same. It's probably not at all the same as this course, but it's something, and it seems to be working really well. And it's yes, as long as they get a feeling for something, then they can work with that, and they don't have to understand the full context. But yeah, I think it's in that sense, in our scope of practice, I think the awareness has a place, and yeah, I don't know. That's it.
Thank you. Richard, you want to say some last words?
Yeah, I actually had a question, but I don't know.
Yeah, do it. I can stay. I think Miguel and Teresa want. If anyone wants to go, you can go, because this will be recorded. If you can stay, go, talk.
Yes. So they were stating in the course there about adhesion lines. They refer to this book by Carla something. Let's see here. Yeah, Carla Stecco. And I'm not sure that I understand what these lines kind of telling us. So if they're like areas to understand if something is connected or is not working properly.
If something is connected.
If something is connected,
yes,
or not.
For instance, Leonid gives a very good example for me, which is with the leg and the iliac crest and then the abdomen. Can you imagine? You're watching someone from the side,
yeah,
and you see the thigh, and then on top of the thigh you see a ridge, which is the top of the iliac crest.
Yeah.
And then there's another little bulk or big bulk, depends on the belly of the person, which is the belly starting. And those are the ridges. What do you call them? The
adhesion.
The adhesion lines, which determine if there is a differentiation of the parts. If the leg stops and works on the iliac crest, on the iliac, or if there's no separation there, the leg will work on the lumbar spine together with the abdominal. That's what happens in CP kids, and that's what happens in many clients we have with back pain, because they move their leg from their back. Of course, there's a connection from the back to the leg, but there needs to be a clear separation line, and those are the adhesion lines that that they talk about with Carla Stecco, and he describes it very well in his there's a YouTube channel. I'm talking about Leonid. YouTube channel called ABR.
Yeah, I follow that.
Okay, so he has amazing descriptions in statues, in museums, where he describes all those lines that he see. At the beginning is very difficult because this is the map of surfaces and volumes that we are not used to see. We immediately see, oh, but where is the quadratus lumborum and where is the greater trochanter? No, just watch pieces, surfaces and volumes dealing with each other, and then you go to the anatomy and to the parts inside that can tell you something of what you see in the skin, the level of the skin, as Miguel was saying. Is it clear? Yeah, and for me, it's very difficult to see that, but it's amazing when you see it. I have to see it. I have seen those videos for, I don't know, 10 times each, and stay there. Tchau, Teresa. Beijinho. Thank you very much. You need to almost meditate in his words, and in his readings, and again and again and again, until you get, for me, a glimpse of what he's trying to see there, because it's not our way of seeing the body. We immediately see bones and muscles, and yeah.
I also had another question. Could you actually notice if on a person's skin, if their crimp fibers are straight? Or do you have to like feel the skin, or can you just watch the skin and see it? Do you know that?
I think you to feel is better, but if you see someone with a huge definition of any muscle in a resting position, you can be sure that that muscle is not anymore in the crimp phase. It's already in the second or third, well, third no, but in the second phase of fibers alignment. So there's a localizing of tension there, and it's not a baseline tension, let's say. So there, the person's baseline is above the functionally normal. Yeah?
Yeah.
Miguel, you agree? Okay. Beijinhos e abraços. Kiss, kiss.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, Richard. Bye.
It's nice to meet you, Miguel.
So I'm here with the two Swedish guys. You have something else you want to say? Please say it in English, because I don't speak Swedish.
Promise. No, but it's very interesting. Sorry I couldn't participate in a better way today. Yeah, I'm very curious about those lines you were just talking about on the statues, because I'm making a lot of associations also from listening to his talks about this, and I'm sure that I don't get it, but at the same time I'm thinking, but it probably has something to do with the stuff that I'm associating it with. And also some of the things that Amy Taylor Alpers is saying when she's teaching Pilates. I don't know if she's fully aware of all of this, but for sure she knows some things. Because some of them are really spot on with this. I really think it's the same, but maybe it's coming from a different place for her, or we already know she has been studying diet integrity and she is aware of that, but it's quite interesting how she talks about Pilates and then studying this and just kind of connecting some dots and sensing it when you do it. It's a different sensation.
Good. Richard?
Yeah.
I don't have anything more to add.
Okay. There is this thing about the watching the bodies and watching the movement in a different perspective that he addresses, him and Mariana, Leonid and Mariana address in the course, which is the use of video a person. It doesn't have to be a lot of movement. You can just stand without your clothes and film yourself during 2 or 3 breath cycles. And then you use a program called Video Converter to JPG, JPEG. So video converted to photos, and you convert each second into 4, 5, 6, well, whatever images. So you can see in 1 second, you can see 4 different images, 4 different changes. Tuck, 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 tuck. So in breathing, for instance, you see amazing hidden things happening in the activation of things in your body that you cannot see with a free looking eye when you look to a person. So these kind of observation, filming a person, and then splitting the filming each second into 4, I don't know, 8 frames, and analyze second by second, so 8 frames or 4 frames each time. It gives you a lot of hidden information, which him and Mariana, they use a lot, and it's amazing what we can find. So try to download the program. It doesn't work on a Mac. It only works on PC. And it's free. You don't have to download it to your computer. You can use it directly from the internet.
Do you film your back or front or side?
Front, side, back, whatever. On your fours, lying down. You can make up whatever you feel like you want to try to imagine what is happening. You can do walking, but in walking 1 second, a lot of things, there's nothing apparently happen in 1 second while you're walking, but a lot of things happen. I filmed myself in the Q&A of the course on the 6th or 5th, I don't know, one of the last ones, the one before the last. There he analyzes myself walking, and I'm doing crazy things with my legs just in 1 second during my stepping forward with my left leg. I'm doing amazing things with my leg that I didn't imagine I was doing. I was like, no, that's not me. So it's good to use it, to start using it, to play with it, like watching the statues in museums or pictures from before there was the knowledge of muscles and biomechanics, because now people paint bodies according to norms, according to knowledge of anatomy and biomechanics, and that makes completely different pictures than before. So it's nice to see. Good?
Sounds
Good.
interesting.
So we wrap it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. So we see each other in a month, I hope, and we will go on, I think, studying everything that we want of the course and bringing things to discuss and to, yeah. In the meanwhile, we can talk to each other by writing or something. And I will place the YouTube video on the YouTube channel. Yes, to review.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.